We are live, Dad. We're recording.
Live, episode 5.
Hey, everybody.
Good evening
Good
on
evening,
another
yeah.
Sunday night.
Welcome back to
Welcome.
Ba.Con.
Ba.Con.
Father and Son podcast.
Ba.Con. Let's go.
Let's say hi to our supporters real quick.
Yeah, it's only 3.
Yeah. Hello, Huey.
Hello.
Uncle Jay. Uncle Mike. How y'all doing today?
Let's make it big. Let's get one more before the week's over.
Maybe we should get 5 supporters total.
That's it.
We need to shout out some more people early on. Today's episode is about relationships.
Yeah.
All your friends are in them.
That's right.
Everybody is damn about married.
No, except for Uncle Mike.
Yeah.
Our one of our original supporters.
One of our original supporters.
That's right.
Yeah. He's a man of a lot of life.
He is a man of a lot of life.
We gotta get him on the show one day, Dad.
We do. He'll
I'll
spin
talk about
it.
it. Yeah.
Let me since this is about love and marriage,
Mhm.
the reason why is I've been married 30 years.
30 years.
30 years since I was 20, basically. Now I'm 50.
92.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christmas of 93.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Brandon was born in 94, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shotgun marriage.
Yeah.
I would tell you that when I first got married,
Mhm.
well, this is about relationships. So let me kind of kick it into gear. Okay. I would tell you that when I first saw my wife, I knew I was going to marry her.
I do love that story.
She didn't want anything to do with me.
Of course.
Naturally.
Still doesn't.
Still doesn't.
Yeah.
That's probably why the marriage still goes.
Yeah.
So I saw her for the first time standing behind her mom at church. And her first cousin, which was a really good friend of mine, I said, because I saw them kind of talk. And I said, man, who's that girl? He's like, dude, she ain't never said, just stay away from her. She don't want nothing to do with you. I said, what do you mean? He's like, well, she doesn't, you just out there, bro. She's a good girl. I said, I'm going to marry her, And he's like, whatever. And we end up getting married.
Yeah. 30 years later.
30 years later. Well, let me kind of go back. The complete difference of her lifestyle and my lifestyle.
Right.
I smoked and drank and partied. She did not.
Right. Mom is a country girl.
Asian country girl.
Yeah,
she says stuff like darling and very sheltered.
Funny enough, though, you guys are from the same village.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes,
and you got your first communion together.
Yeah. Didn't know each other. We were born in the same village in Vietnam.
Yep.
And during the war, both our families left and ended up in the same refugee camp.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. And then, of course, I mean, the world is funny. Fate, I guess, is funny. So we ended up in the same city, Houston.
Right. Yeah.
Went to our first communion together in the probably late 70s. Didn't really remember her, who she was.
Yeah.
And kind of grew up in the same, the Vietnamese community back then was small. So everybody kind of knew everybody. But, happenstance through life, met her first cousin. We grew up together.
Yeah.
Me and
Judo,
her. Yeah.
Still hanging out with him.
Yeah. Me and him grew up together. And, I've known him, since I was 6, 7 years old. So
yeah. Crazy.
40 some odd years. And, he was really adamant that I should not date his first cousin.
Well, he knew you in a different way.
He did.
He knew her in the way that
he did.
That she is.
She was the fresh spring flower, and I was the rotten earth.
Yes. Basically, yeah.
I was concrete jungle, and she was the other way around. So the match was not made in heaven. No. Right?
But for some reason, you guys were tied together somehow.
Man, I don't know how that actually works. And as we get deeper into this, of course, we were married young, had our first child young.
A lot of things were rushed, and a lot of things happened very quickly.
Her parents, of course, looked at me as just a dirty 20-year-old.
Right. And I mean, to their,
well, they were parents. They looked at me the way I would look at anybody. Like,
man, I think if
you're not worth it, you're not worthy.
Yes.
Right.
Of our daughter.
Of our daughter. Right. So, I weaseled my way in a way. Right. Now they love me.
Yeah.
Right. So, really tough goings in the beginning of our life together. Didn't have nothing, didn't know what to do. My wife, her, dreams back then were just to have a washer and dryer because we hated going to the laundromat. And so
that story breaks my heart, Dad.
It's part of it. As you're young, think about it. You're 21. I was having your older brother at that time.
Yeah, basically right now. How old I am,
basically what you're doing right now. I was getting ready to be a parent.
Yeah.
So times were extremely tough then.
Speak of the devil.
Speak of the devil. So, we, when I tell you that we had nothing, we literally had nothing. I couldn't take her with me because I had no job. And basically I was still a street thug, right? In all sense of the word, I was still a street thug. And had really no future, had no plans.
No career.
Nothing.
Right.
And so for the first few months we were together, we had no place to go. Of course, I couldn't bring her with me to hang out, with my friends living in apartments.
My mom just walked in here and she's eating soft shell crab.
Yeah, crazy enough. Microwave.
Yeah.
What'd you do, boil it?
You baked it?
You fried it? Okay.
Oh my God.
So anyways, I'm losing my thought. We have an audience of 3, bro. So
they're listening.
Calm down. Yeah. Where was I? Yes. So I moved in because of Brandon and my wife to my parents' house, which was a 3-bedroom house. And being Asian, there's like 15 people, 20 people that live there.
Yep.
And so there was no space for us. So we had to literally sleep in the
kitchen.
Breakfast nook kind of thing, right? Underneath the breakfast table.
That's crazy.
So we slept on a little mat for like 6 months. Yeah. That's how we lived.
With Brandon?
With Brandon. Sleeping with me, Mom, and Brandon. Just the 3 of us.
Oh. Dang. On that little egg foam.
The little egg foam, yeah. So we did that. And, slowly, right, just finding our way. So it was really, really difficult. It was really, really difficult to look back on it now. And it's weird because we didn't really have a kind of agenda today, but just to walk through those days, trying to find a job, having no support, and it was just me and her, and our son, and then our daughter, your sister.
Brandon,
so,
Megan, right.
Man, just to sit here and think it is crazy. Just the absolute ass beating
of life.
Yeah, I remember.
I can't imagine that stress right now.
I don't know if it was so stressful we couldn't handle it. I think what helped us was because we didn't know.
What you were
we didn't know what the future held for us, right? Our dreams,
moment, right?
Like you asked me a few episodes ago, did you have any dreams? I didn't. I didn't think I would live past 21, much less have a dream. Now I'm a father.
A grandfather, too.
Now I'm a grandfather, but then I was a father,
right?
And still running the streets.
Yeah.
Right? Still, I wasn't half in the streets. I was all in the streets, but still had a family.
Fully in the life, right?
Yeah, I was fully in the life.
And Mom had no idea, right?
No, she had no. If she did, she would have fainted.
Yeah.
Like, just.
What did you tell her that you did?
I didn't. She kind of just like, those are just his friends and he got drunk with them and that's what it was.
So, did she ever wonder like, well, how's he paying for this stuff or whatever?
I worked,
Where?
Well, I worked at that factory.
The Kinko's?
No. I worked at the place where I did the fiberglass thing. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But on the side, I was still running the streets.
Yeah.
In my spare time. So, were there days I was dead tired? Yeah, but it was just like having 2 families, one outside and one inside. kind of think about it, it was really, really surreal. Now that I think about it, I don't know how the hell I did it.
I don't know either,
I was
Dad.
juggling my duties. Basically, they were my duties with
Houston's.
my people outside, and
Right.
being a parent. And
That's
I was
crazy.
fighting myself, I guess, in a way, but trying to balance. I felt a duty to my homeboys
Mm-hmm.
and a duty to, your brother and sister and my wife.
That was I mean, those homeboys of yours were your first family.
Yeah, and it was
Realistically.
crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. They would come by and we would drink and just, handle business, and I would go home. I mean, I don't know if I should even tell the stories because I don't know the legal limits of what
Yeah.
I might get in trouble with or not.
I probably wouldn't say it, Dad.
But I will tell you, one time we had a meeting, and I had just got back from the Army, right?
From Korea?
Yeah, I had just got back, and there was a situation where we were being disrespected. Not me and your mom, but my crew.
You and your... Right.
Yeah. So, and so I had to handle up. So I called a meeting at the house, and the homeboy showed up.
In Leak City?
No, down here in South 45.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I still, like, when I moved back, I still living with my mom and dad, your grandparents,
Mhm.
right? And so they rolled up, and there was 2 sacks full of just, like, AKs and, just full of guns. And Mom was like, what are y'all doing? I said, oh, just give us a couple minutes. We're just in here talking about stuff, And it was weird. And then, I left. And I remember Mom's holding your sister and Brandon standing there sucking his thumb. And she was like, well, where are y'all going?
Oh,
And I'm like, I got
house too.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I gotta go. I'll be back later. We're just gonna go hang out with the homeboys, and we'll be back. We went and handled business, and I got back home. Didn't think nothing of it.
That's insane, Dad.
Yeah. Yeah, you remember when your cousins told the story how they walked into that little room I had in the back, and it was full of guns on top of the little counter?
They never told me that story.
Ask your cousin Joey about it.
He never told me that.
Yeah, ask your cousin Joey about it. He said he looked up, him and Francis. They were climbing, trying to be
And they were
nosy,
scared.
and on top of the little counter there was like 3 AK. You know what I mean? Real
Yeah.
high-powered rifles. Yeah, man, I kind of like today's subject. It's weird.
That is a crazy-ass
juggling
story,
two lives.
Yeah.
Being a good dad, trying to be a good husband,
And also living for Houston.
fully living that lifestyle.
Yeah.
There was no first, second gear. It was all out.
Yeah.
And then I went home.
To your wife.
Act
and
like nothing
son
happened.
and daughter.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That is crazy.
That is, now that I think about it, I don't know how the hell I did it or why. Really, the question is why.
That was all you knew, though, Dad.
That was all I knew.
Yeah.
That was all I knew. It's really strange. Now that I walk back on it,
Mhm.
I don't know why the hell I did it. I didn't choose one or the other.
I think it was an obligation.
I chose both, and it was an obligation.
Yeah. To both.
I was obligated to both families. That's how I felt then.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they were your family, though, Dad.
Yes.
When you get rejected like that from your first family, the blood-related people,
Yeah.
you gotta find something.
Yeah. It was.
And those are the people that you found. Unfortunately,
Unfortunately, they saved my life in
Right.
both areas. Being a husband and a father, and also being being a leader outside in the world.
oh my God, soft shell crabby.
And so
He's back.
the lady's back, eating more soft shell crabs. But anyways, I don't know. You know what? I take this as like, this is pretty cool. This is kind of like therapy for me.
Yeah.
Man, now that I think about it, it was really scary.
Hell yeah, Dad. That's all I can think about when you tell me these stories.
Doing the stuff
Because
that I did, it was extremely scary.
I'm
Now
putting
that I think
myself
about
in
it.
your position, I mean, you could have
It's
died.
basically what you see in movies or rap videos.
Right.
And I'm talking full-on violence. I'm not talking, you see somebody and it's like, hey, what's up? You know, we're going to just go punch each other. No, it was full on violence.
Yeah.
It was hunting. We were hunting people. They were hunting us. And it was danger at every turn.
Yeah.
So.
And you could have lost your life at any given moment.
Any given day. Any given day. Regular days.
Yeah.
We would go take care of business. Right? You know, think about it. You know, I go home, go to work, and then, you know, you change a diaper, and then you get a page, and then next thing you know, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's roll.
That's pretty fucking crazy, Dad.
It's kind of out there.
Yeah.
It's out there. Now that I think about it, I don't know how the hell my wife made it through all that.
I mean, she had no idea.
She didn't.
But
she knows a little bit now because, you know, the stuff that we went through.
A part of you likes that, though, right? That she doesn't know about it, right?
Yeah, but she also understands. I think deep down, Mom knows, you know, if you don't ask too much questions, what your husband does, you know, you kind of like don't know. Yes, you know, I don't know. She's what? What? But anyways,
You put on pause.
You want me to stop the recording?
no. Well, let's go. So, you know, going back to just relationships, as a young husband going through all that, getting pulled 20 different ways, I didn't know how to be a husband or a father.
Right.
Now that I look back,
That's something that I wanted to talk about today on the show, too.
I did absolutely know anything.
And
Mom was ready to be a
thing-
mom.
Right.
I was
Another
not
thing
ready
though,
to
Dad,
be a husband and a father.
Is you were never shown as a kid what being a good husband and father was.
No,
You never knew.
I didn't know. I didn't
You
know
never
how
knew.
to.
And not to say that is Ong's fault or anything, but as every child is supposed to be shown how to treat, you know, their partner. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
And
I
that-
don't even think my parents knew how to
Exactly.
treat each other.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's not necessarily Ong Ba's fault, right?
No, they were
But
brought up in the world like they didn't know
it's
each
a
other
total-
till the day they got married.
Exactly. Yeah, it was arranged, right?
Yeah.
And that goes back to a few episodes ago when we talked about that generational differences.
Yes, it's weird.
You know, but you never knew, right?
No.
And mom, not to say that mom knew, because
Mom was
her dad was not the greatest.
Mom
man
was
either.
more mature than I was,
but
by a long stretch.
she was ready to be a mother.
Yes,
right.
She was more.
She was
a
ready to
lot.
be a mom.
She was a lot more mature than I was.
Right.
And her focus was the kids
Mhm.
and the family. I'll give you a perfect example.
Not to say that you didn't care about Brandon and Megan,
No,
but you didn't know how to.
I didn't know
be a
how
father
to.
for
I
them.
loved them,
Of course,
but I didn't know how to
be a
be
father
with
for
them.
Right.
That's the difference.
Yes.
I didn't know how to be with them.
Those are very different things.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, I took being a dad as going to work, being stressed out,
paying for their stuff.
paying for their stuff, telling them that I love them,
Yeah.
and you know, when I'm drinking with my friends, telling them to go over there and hang out by yourself.
Yeah. Or hang out with my friends' kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a birthday party for our kids was a birthday party for me,
Yeah, it was.
right?
Yeah.
So that's how it was. Like a birthday party for my kids, for your brothers and sisters, then was a excuse for me to get drunk with my friends.
Right.
Right now, I understand that.
You do know.
Then I
Right.
thought because I was present,
it was enough.
it was enough. Physically, I was there
Dad was
physically, but
there.
mentally,
You were with your homies.
yeah. I mean, I did like the social media post type of deal, right? Like I held
Yeah.
my kid, kissed him, and then I was just sitting with
It's
my
the
friends.
ultimate Facebook dad.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Now that I think about it, and you know, when we would have those parties, it was wild. It wasn't wild, but you know, we were just as adults sitting around drinking and talking and having a great time.
Right.
And the whole time I was neglecting my kids,
Yeah.
right?
And that's a huge thing to admit, Dad.
What? Because it's the truth.
Yeah, but even then, it's still difficult to swallow.
Yeah.
It's hard to admit those kinds of things.
It is. It's
But it shows, you know, your growth,
Growth.
as a father.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Because
mean,
I think for me, the way that I know you is way different than Megan and Brandon know you.
yes,
Right. I
Yes.
mean, granted, you weren't. From whenever I was 5 when you and Mom got divorced, it was very. You were a very different father 10 years later when I was 15.
yes.
Which is basically when you came back into my life. Not to say that you totally abandoned me, but I mean, when we moved back into Victoria,
When we well,
It
you
was a
were-
lot different
You were
than-
11.
yeah, I was like 12 or 13.
Yeah, I was home
Right.
more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not to say that you abandoned me,
Yeah.
but I mean, you worked in a different city. You and mom were not together.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was,
when I saw you, I gave you all the attention.
Yes.
And I had to learn that.
Yes.
I had to learn that. So,
yeah.
Which is, yes, me and my wife got divorced.
Oh, yeah. We got to talk about that too.
We got divorced. And, you know, the one thing that I will tell you is what she's told me through the years is that, you know, I needed to learn how, and it's just really weird coming from somebody, is that I need to learn how to love myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't, because I was giving everything I had because I thought that was what I should have done. And, you know, when we got divorced and I was kind of by myself, just whatever, learning and going, I started learning the things that I like and I didn't like truly.
About yourself or just in general?
Just in general, like what I wanted in a person, what I wanted in a life. I started seeing a future with me and y'all as my kids, being a better dad.
Okay.
And just trying to be a better man for whoever that was next.
Right.
Right. Fortunately, you know, me and mom got back together.
Thank goodness.
And thank God. I learned, and I'm still learning. I mean, there was points we were done with each other. It wasn't like we were.
There's still points when you guys are done with each other, Dad.
Now, yeah.
But that's a part of
being married.
Yes. Yeah.
I will tell you one keynote is that it is not love that kept us together.
No?
We love each other.
But it's not what kept you guys together.
I think it's just a mutual respect for having the same goals.
Which is raising the best kids you can?
Yeah, trying to live a good life, raising our kids, just living our lives, right? I'm not talking about goals as like, oh, I'm going to be wealthy and this and that, but similar goals, trying to just be better parents and being better people. I think that, you know, love, yes, is it an ingredient in it? Definitely.
Of course. Obviously, it's necessary.
But a major ingredient is also respect.
Yeah.
For each other and what we do, right? You know, acknowledgement for each other for the simple task, right? Now, I'm not saying that it's perfect. I will tell you that
no marriage is perfect, though, Dad.
Well, but most people look at us, right? And we get compliments all the time,
right?
You know, I will tell you one time we went to church. You know, I think I've told this story. This lady stopped us and, you know, you guys look so loved up and so on and so forth.
But
you know, not knowing
idea.
the turmoil that we had as, you know, divorcees, both of us remarrying. But, you know, I will tell you that during those times when I was divorced, I don't view it as us being divorced. I view it more as us taking a break and learning. Which helped because we got together so young.
Yeah, it did. I mean, you guys got thrown into a crazy life.
We did.
Yeah, we did. If you look at it, both of you guys were escaping from something. Really?
Yeah. I mean, I had a sense of...
You escaped a lot later.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that with me, there was a sense of duty to take care of her. Yeah. For her, it was leaving and getting out. Her parents, they were so...
crazy.
Crazy. Not...
Her dad,
not crazy, but extremely strict and unbendable.
And in the sense of, he was of the previous generation.
That's right, but he was unbendable. What he said was right. There was no argument. No. There was no like, well, I think no. There was none of that. And you know, mom was treated like a boy in the sense that she had to work, she had to provide, she had to do all that, and her sense of duty was more about, you know, doing the right thing. Because that's what she was taught. For me, I just lived kind of that, like the free hippie lifestyle. I was just rolling around in the streets and doing whatever the hell I wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, when I got married, it all had to stop to a certain sense, right? I mean, I don't think that we even dated.
No.
In the general sense, right? Like,
you and mom were together.
I think we went to the movie once. And I will tell you, I even remember the movie. It was called The Tides.
Who chose it?
Mom. It was my birthday, I think, or something around there. And she gave me a wallet as a gift. Okay. And we went to the movies.
Okay.
And we got married.
Holy shit.
That was our
What
dating
was
lifestyle.
You like y'all's first date? Like, what did you and mom do?
Man, I took her ass to the
Together.
zoo. The very first date.
Oh yeah, that's right. Brandon and Dooney did that too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took her ass to the zoo of all
Okay,
places.
but how was that though?
It was really weird. We were just kind of like, at first, I didn't even try to hold her hand or anything. She had to hold my hand.
She held your
had
hand
to-
first?
Yeah. She had to make the first move because I was just like,
What
I didn't
the
know.
hell?
I don't know nothing about stuff like, you know what I mean? I was just like, shit. It's going out on a date. It was weird.
Yeah. Was it awkward? Did you and mom even like talk or anything? Were you nervous, Dad?
I wasn't nervous in that sense of nervous being with a girl. I was just kind of nervous, like, man, what the hell am I doing? You know what I mean?
It was a foreign world.
Like it was just like,
Yeah.
dude, I got other things to do.
Yeah, your mind was somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I had, you know, it's just like, okay, let's
A whole
get
game
on
of
this
people.
date. I had things to do. I had to go get drunk. I had to, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there is really no dating. I mean, like you dated,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so your dates consist of what? Like going out? I mean, I don't know. When I tell you I don't know, I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's doing something fun and involves both people, and you just have good conversation before, after, during, and get to know each other in a quality manner. To me, that is a date, you know. And it doesn't sound like you had the capacity to give that sort of quality time.
I mean,
to Mom.
I think we had good conversation. I'll tell you, like,
what did you and Mom talk about on your first date, Dad? Because there's no
I
way
don't
you forgot.
remember.
You really forgot?
I mean,
I mean,
don't
it was,
know.
what,
Well,
30 years ago?
yeah, it's 30 some years ago, bro. I don't
Yeah.
remember. But I would tell you that when we were dating seriously, like I was staying at this apartment, she would come over and I would read.
Instead of hanging out with her?
Yeah, I was just kind of, because I've always been a reader.
Yeah.
Like she, you know, my time was like between reading and then chit chatting with her, and then she would break up with me about
Once a week.
Once a week.
Yeah. Megan's
know?
the same way.
And you know, it was just kind of surreal. But again, I had other things that kept me occupied.
Right. Right.
But I've never been like a womanizer when
And
I say
you-
that.
You had been in, what, 2 relationships prior before Mom?
Basically, yeah. Yeah. So,
And they weren't really much of anything because you were 20
Kid.
when you got with Mom anyway.
Yeah,
so-
I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was a kid. So, I think my full-on relationship was just living in the streets.
Yeah. You weren't really worried about any of that romantic stuff, were you, Dad?
No.
Yeah.
No, not. I think about it. My mind was fully focused on what I was trying to do.
Would you say you were always stressed and always worried about the thing? Like anxious?
I guess anxious would be the word because I didn't know what tomorrow held. You
Mhm.
know, Mom.
Like, were you nervous? Of course, you can't show it, right? Because you're leading a bunch of people. But would you say living that sort of lifestyle, there's just a feeling in your stomach of, I could fucking die any given moment?
I think you learn to live with it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't remember. Yeah, there were times when I was fearful and scared. I
Right.
will tell you that.
And obviously, you never showed it, right?
You couldn't.
You couldn't. Right.
But my responsibility was to stay calm.
Yeah, as the leader, right?
Yeah, because when your friends and your family looks up to you
They depend
and there's
on
a
you,
storm,
right?
they know you're scared, but they never want you to admit that
Right.
because they don't want to admit it themselves.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does. It definitely does.
You know, just like the plane ride when we flew to Colorado and the plane fell.
Mm-hmm.
You remember?
Oh
Not
my
fail.
God!
And you
It dropped.
yeah,
It wasn't
the
just
lady
turbulence.
screamed,
It dropped. Yeah.
and you were just like, Dad.
I was scared shit. I thought we were gonna crash.
Yeah.
I was scared shitless.
And when you
Yeah.
looked at me, how was my face?
you basically, it was not like dismissive, but you were stone cold, and you're like, it's gonna be fine. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, but it calmed you
It did.
because you knew that
It,
I wasn't.
It definitely didn't make me more scared. I wasn't
if I was
more-
panicking with you, what do you think would happen?
I would have
Freaked
had
out.
a panic attack legitimately.
I told you at that moment? Was there a slight that was I scared? Sure, I was on a plane. I'm
Yeah.
like it flashed before me. Like, dude, I might be dying with my kids on this
Yeah.
plane
That was a
because the
crazy
plane
ass
dropped.
ride. It did. It wasn't
like
just
a few
turbulence.
thousand. Yeah,
was like,
it dropped.
shh.
It's just that quick drop. Everything kind of flew up. Remember that lady screamed?
Yeah.
But my face expression never changed.
Right. We flew, I think it was a blizzard, right?
Yeah, we flew into Colorado, Denver.
That was fucking crazy.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, you're right.
It's that kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Had you been just as scared as me, I definitely would have. Now, am I saying that you calmed me down? No. But am I saying, did you make me any more scared? Definitely not either.
Yeah, but I was holding your hand.
So I would rather, yeah. And I was also like 10.
Yeah, I was holding your hand.
I was a child.
Yes,
yeah.
you were a child. And of course, if I would have freaked out as a dad.
That would not have been good for me.
But that's the same kind of scenario.
Right.
Right? In life.
Right.
If you ask mom will tell you that I'm a pretty calm person in chaos.
Right.
Because I don't know, maybe I'm attracted to chaos.
You've been very good at doing, I mean, you had a lot of practice.
Yeah, so I don't know how that works.
Yeah. You've been doing it since you were like 10 probably.
Yeah. I steel myself in a way to where I calm my nerves and I do what I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that the turmoil doesn't... COVID.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm
sure you were scared. I mean, the world was shutting down, essentially.
Yeah, COVID.
That's a scary fucking feeling.
When Uncle Mike had the heart attack.
Yeah.
That's one of the most recent ones.
Shout out to you, Uncle Mike, you crazy ass.
What else? Me and Mom were talking about something else the other day. There was the freeze. You remember the freeze after Francis died?
Yeah, I do remember that.
And I was adamant about going back to work and, just being there for our people.
Leading your people in a raging river.
Yeah.
And
so
say, yeah.
I remember me and Mom were driving. We were basically the only cars on the freeway. Freeways were shutting down. There was ice everywhere.
I had to do that too, Dad. Megan and I were like, fuck, we gotta go. Like, the water's gonna shut off. Shit's gonna happen. What are we gonna do when the water and the electricity turns off? And then I was like, okay, well, we gotta go. Like,
yeah.
I put Megan and Abel in the car.
And you left.
And I drove
to Joey's house.
And I drove us to Joey's. Yeah.
So, but that's what I'm saying though. It's like Mom was recounting a story. I said, I remember when we finally got back home to Victoria. And of course we still had electricity, we still had water, but the news was saying they're going to cut the water out, and Mom's kind of freaking out because it's just me and her.
That's what Megan was doing too. Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to pour water into the bathtub. Anything that we can hold water, we'll hold water so you can use the bathroom. And then we'll ride this out and see where it goes. And then she was freaking out. She said, well, you don't need to go to work. I said, but I have to. There's people there that depend on me.
Right.
And she was just like, well, I can't just be here by myself. I said, well, you're going to have to. Right. And what she told me now here recently, because we were just kind of chit-chatting about it, she said, that was the thing that calmed her down because I was so calm about it. I was just like, this is what I have to do.
Not to say you weren't like, this isn't a big deal.
No.
But you're also like, we have to be calm in this.
Yes. Right. Yeah, you got to think it through.
Right.
In a sense,
exactly.
right? And
I think I learned a little bit from you, Dad, because maybe I just picked it up from like osmosis, but I remember Megan, like, she was basically saying the same sort of things of like, well, what are we going to do? Like, there's not going to be any heat. Abel's going to be cold. There's not going to be any water. And then I was like, all right, well, fuck. She was like, I called Joey. He said we can go over there, but I don't want to drive. And she's like, what should we do, Mace? And then
I think I talked to you.
Yeah. Then you called me, and then you were like, you have to drive you and your sister to Joey's.
Yeah,
driving the streets. And then I was just like, okay,
driving the streets. I remember I told you, don't drive on the freeways, drive on the streets.
Yeah.
Don't, just take your time, call me when you get there.
Yeah.
But it's that calming, and I don't know where I learned it. And I think
you had to learn it to survive, Dad.
Yes.
I think you had to teach that to
yourself.
Yeah.
So, damn, that was kind of, all this stuff was kind of, it's part of the relationship.
Yeah. I guess this is pretty off the...
It's still good, though. We're still learning.
Yeah. Maybe we should talk about something... Dating then versus now. That's sort of the next topic that we have.
Man, I don't know what it's like to date then.
Dating now is weird, Dad.
How is it? Let me ask you something. So,
yes, sir.
Dating now consists of you have to have some type of social media because 100%. They have to know who you are, and you're judged by
your physical looks.
But everybody's judged by that.
Yeah.
But how fun is your
life?
Your life on social media. Like, is this a person I want to get with? Because, oh, dude, this dude ain't got no friends. He's at home. He's a slob, you know? Because you're prejudged. So there's somebody out there that probably likes you because of the way you post or whatever.
Not even knowing, like...
Is that no, how that works
it
now?
Basically is, Dad. A lot of... You remember eHarmony? Like, all those commercials on eHarmony?
Yeah, sure.
And how weird everyone was like, man, online dating, that's so weird. Why would you do that?
Now it's normal.
It's everybody does. I met my girlfriend online.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty crazy, Dad. And, you know, me and her are in love and shit. But talking about dating in general, you know, then versus now, the initial human connection, not a thing anymore.
No.
It's not a thing. You either meet someone, you're like, oh, I think they're attractive on Instagram, then you just message them. You know, nothing is like, or, oh, I think they're attractive on this dating app or this, and you just message them. Nothing,
that's it.
Yeah, there's no...
They're like, hey, man, that girl's like how I
like
met Mom.
Or you guys are friends for a long time.
Yeah.
Like Brandon and Donna.
Yeah.
They known each other for like 10 fucking years or some shit before they even started dating.
Yeah.
And then, you know.
But it's still judged on social media presence, though, I think, right?
It is, 100%.
Because people, that's what they know now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
you live two lives.
It's the all information
you know how you
of
live
the world.
two lives?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know, one on the streets, one with your family.
Social media is the same thing.
You, and then you on the internet.
So you could be some lonely dude or woman inside a house
with no conversational skills at all.
But online, you're phenomenal.
Be the hottest, most charismatic person in the world.
That's right.
Yeah.
By the way you type.
Yes.
And you're judged by that.
That is dating now. Yeah. It's crazy, Dad. There's no real like.
Have you had any friends that was like, man, she was such a good person. I don't know what happened. Meaning that like online they were phenomenal until they meet them. Have you had stories like that with some of your friends?
Honestly,
you know what I mean?
I do have a friend. He goes on like the online dating apps dates all the time. Whenever I was living in the city before and we hung out all the time, he went on a date like once a week with a different person.
What was that interaction like? Was it like, oh man, you ain't
it's like
what you put on there?
Yeah, like so now it's like, and when you meet and okay, the first date now, Dad, you're not really getting to know each other. You've already been getting to know each other through the app messaging.
That is weird. That's right.
Yeah, that's so weird.
So you're talking before that,
but not even in person, with no real human interaction.
So no phone call.
No phone call. It's always texting first. Megan and Vincent met on a dating app.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
I didn't know that.
Vincent drove 3 hours from San Antonio to here for their first date, and that was when they first met each other in person.
But before that, they were like texting and talking.
And then they FaceTimed. And then that was it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's dating now. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Mom. I wanted to marry her, so that's a big difference.
It's a way bigger difference. Yeah.
We actually had to learn each other.
Yeah, and there's awkward human interaction, you know?
It was awkward in human interaction then with Mom.
That's what I'm saying. That's what, you know, it should be. But now it's very, very different.
I mean, I will tell you, like, one of the times I went out with her, and she said, look, I don't like guys that smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And the very next thing I do is pull out a cigarette. Yeah. I didn't blow it out. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, I'm assuming you probably had a cigarette in your mouth.
Yeah, I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
And the problem is, you know, like didn't care. I was attracted to her. But
again, you didn't hold a lot of value to romantic relationships like that, did you, Dad? Not at the time, especially.
Man, yeah, no.
You were definitely
being in love then is completely different than me loving Mom now.
Oh, yeah, but you can't say that.
No, but what I'm saying is,
that's
like,
30 years of life.
Thinking, you know, when I first dated her, did I miss her in our conversation? Sure, but I think it was more in the sense of, like, being young and being with somebody.
Right.
Instead of being with somebody for that lifetime.
Well,
does that make sense?
Let me ask you this. When did you realize that you
This is getting really good, actually.
Yeah, this is good, Dad. But when did you realize that you liked... sorry. That you liked Mom outside of a physical aspect, right? Because there had to be time put in to get to know her, and then you're like, well, I go on this first date because I think she's beautiful, and then I'm going to go on the second date because I think she's beautiful, And then on the third date, when did you be like, okay, I actually want to go on this date to be with this person? And yes, they're beautiful on the outside, but when did you start to realize, like, I'm attracted to this person for who she is?
I don't know
well?
the exact moment.
Well, yeah, maybe
but
not the
I think
exact
like
moment, but
if you could say that it was love at first sight,
I don't know if it was.
I mean, I thought it was then.
Okay, well, maybe, yeah.
But I don't know, like, the sense of love, what it is, that deeper understanding what
of course,
we have
that
now.
you can't have that at first sight.
No,
obviously.
but I would tell you that I was in love with her. She was not in love with me.
No.
No. I would tell you that if you ask Mom, and she probably hates this, that I'm,
saying this now.
We're throwing this out there because she's very private.
Mm-hmm.
But
she's
no,
very private.
She was not in love with me.
If she listens to this part, you guys are laying in bed later, she's going to hit you on the arm and say, honey, why would you even say that?
That's right. It's like she wanted to say that earlier.
Yeah, she did. She did. She hit you on the arm.
She wanted to stop it.
I know.
Man, I will tell you that weirdly deep down inside, I knew she was a phenomenal human being.
Immediately? No, okay, not immediately.
No, not immediately, but I would tell you that if you, let's say life is a comparison, because it is, right? Everything's a comparison to something else.
Right.
If I compared her, I think that's what I did, compared her to the people I knew. Mm-hmm. She was the bright light in my darkness, in a sense.
That's a beautiful thing to say, Dan.
Right?
Yeah.
And so if I compared her, and I think that's what I did, because my life was in turmoil, but I will tell you something, truthfully honest, I loved it.
The life that you were living.
Yes, I loved my lifestyle.
Yes.
I was not regretful of whatever. I loved it.
You always tell me that you had accepted death.
Yeah, I loved it. I don't have that kind of like, man, if I could have, no. Yeah. I was meant not to go to school. I was meant to live a hard life. I was meant to find the love of my life. I was meant to have 3 kids. You know what I mean? I really don't have a lot of those regrets to where I was like, well, what if? I mean, my one thing is like I reminisce if I could have gone to a prom. Or do the stuff that high school kids do,
or college kids do.
Yeah, because that's why I encourage you guys,
right?
Because that's something that I was like, that it was regretful that I didn't do it. I didn't do it because I chose not to.
Right. It was the life that you were living.
It was just the life I fully embraced my lifestyle.
Not to say that you regret it, right? But you don't want that for your kids.
No. But yeah, so to say that, I think now my honest answer would be that when I started talking to Mom and really getting to know her better, I knew that she was definitely wholeheartedly a wonderful, wonderful person inside and out. Again, no social media.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't see pictures.
Everything was face value.
Everything was what they said, how it's,
face value, right?
Yeah. Everything, because what she said was what she said. What I said was what I said.
Right.
Now,
that is one thing about you and Mom. You are both very blunt.
Yeah. And so it wasn't like I'll give you a crazy story.
Okay.
We decided, not me and her. So I was supposed to go pick her up on a date.
How long had y'all been together by this point?
Man, I don't know. Maybe a year, maybe 6 months. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So I decided I was supposed to go pick her up for a date. But, my friends called me and said, hey, let's go to San Antonio. Right?
For?
Just to hang out.
Oh, okay.
But we needed a car. So we couldn't get a car big enough. So my brother, Francis' dad, had a van. And I don't know. I was mad at it. Well, we didn't like each other. We still don't barely get along. Yeah. But he had a dry clean business at that time. So mind you, at that time, he didn't allow me to go to his house. Right? Ba was living there. So basically, he told my parents, like, if I ever show up, either call the cops, or if they let me in, he would throw them out the house. That's how much he despised me. Couldn't stand me. I said, okay, well, I know where there's a van. So I went and I stole his work van.
You stole Bucky's work van?
Yeah. I took all his dry clean and put it on the side of his house.
Yeah.
I took his van, went out for the weekend, then I returned it.
Did he know that it was you?
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
What happened after?
It was a Toyota van, huh?
What happened after?
Nothing.
Oh,
Nothing. I mean, I guess my parents say don't press charges. I don't know. I didn't really
that is
care.
hysterical.
At that point, I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like I thought about it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I stood mom up, and she
Okay,
broke
right.
up. She broke up with me.
How?
Right.
You always say that. What'd she do? Call you on your landline and then?
Yeah, she would page me or whatnot, or I would try to call her. She wouldn't talk to me, so I knew she was mad because, of course, I
Stood her up.
I didn't pick her up. So what I did
Yeah.
was, I made all my friends go to her house and knock on the door and apologize to her.
For you?
Yeah, all of them.
So you weren't there.
No, I was there. I was
Oh.
just sitting in the car. She didn't want to talk to me. So I had my friends go up to her house in Texas City and knock on the door and apologize.
Oh my God.
So she finally forgave me. But that's just being young,
Yeah.
But back to how you guys look at life through the lens and relationships through social media. Because you're dating somebody now that doesn't... I mean, for you guys, there's no such thing as long distance anymore because
No, we can literally see each other's face
all the time.
on the phone.
It's weird to me.
Yeah. Sometimes I think about how crazy it is that this technology was on Star Trek.
Yeah,
And now
as
it's-
kids, I used to watch it on this cartoon called The Jetsons, and we were like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, how do they call each other and they can see
Yeah.
each other's face? And then, I mean, it's here,
Real time.
It's in your pocket.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
real time.
But honestly, Dad, I would say long distance is still a thing for me. I don't like using my phone that much. I don't like being on my phone all the time. It's not something that I enjoy having. And so to have my relationship be constricted to this device, it sucks.
It's weird.
I don't like it. No. Like,
But are you saying now you're
Am I saying
not
long
normal
distance?
compared to your friends? Because most people, I mean, perfect. Like when we go out to eat or whatever, everybody's on the phone,
mhm.
right? The phone is the extension of your hand now.
We don't do that. Our family.
doesn't, but I'm saying
No.
everybody, when we go, that's what we notice
my
because we
God.
think it's funny because we'll have
Yeah.
like me, you, mom had lunch today,
Yeah.
right? And I looked around to other people. Now, most of those people in that restaurant didn't speak English,
Yeah.
but guess what they were doing?
On their phone.
They're all on their phones.
Yeah.
It was only us three that had normal conversations,
Yeah.
laughing and making fun of the menu,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and giggling like three teenagers, right?
Yeah.
But I think that mom instilled that, where she didn't allow
She
phones.
loves quality time.
That's right, and I do
love
too.
that. Yeah,
I
you
do too. So, are you not the norm amongst your friends?
Honestly, I think
Are your friends? Do they like that personal interaction with people?
they do, and I think they're my friends for that specific reason.
Yeah,
I tend to gravitate towards people that enjoy real quality time, and if you don't, it kind of bothers me, and I don't particularly click with people that are like that. So not to say that I'm mean to them, but I don't really go out of my way to spend time with them.
because I mean,
It's a waste of time. If you're
the basic of a relationship, you don't really know them.
yeah.
You just know them through a picture and through a couple words online.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Am I right,
If you're
though?
saying that, then yeah, that's just online dating in general, though, Dad.
That is so weird to me.
It's very strange.
It's
I
a
mean,
concept, I guess. I guess, like, when I was young, I used to make fun of older people because they didn't understand. I
Well,
guess,
what?
but
Because I feel like the
it's-
technology wasn't super advanced.
No,
Unless, like, phone
but I'm not
calls.
talking about technology. I'm just saying, like, older generations always have something to say about younger generations.
Yes, that's going to be forever.
But
Yeah.
I feel like my generation now is
Mhm.
more adapted to y'all's generation. And this is what I mean by that.
Very weird transitional phase.
Yeah, because,
Yeah.
I mean, are there dads out there my age that have no clue as far as music, as far as, I'm not
There
saying
are.
social media. I'm
There
just
are.
saying, there's dads out there or whatever.
And there are dads that
My-
are like
my-
you, too.
Yeah.
That are updated to
Yeah, it's
life
like-
and stuff. Uncle Jerry is, I think.
Oh, definitely Uncle Jay.
Yeah,
is.
Uncle Jay is
He's
absolutely
very
updated.
He doesn't party with the kids, but he knows.
He knows exactly
He
what's
knows
going on.
exactly what's going on.
I think
Mike
Uncle
is
Mike
the same
is
way.
the same way, too.
Yeah, he knows. He
Uncle
knows.
Mike
But
is
that's what I'm
absolutely the
saying.
same
That's
way.
our generation now.
Right.
Where, when I was 20 and I looked at a 40-year-old, I'm like, dude, you're about to die because you old. But now that I'm
Yeah.
in my 50s, I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, don't even tell me I'm old, dog. I'm out
Yeah.
here working out and I'm doing my thing. I
Yeah.
dress good. I look good. I feel good.
Right.
And when me and mom are walking around, we don't look our age.
No.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying that we're childish in that manner, but we carry ourselves a certain way to where we straddle that line of not being too young but not being too old.
Mhm.
And I like that. And But that tends also because we kind of grew up with each other, and we kind of like the same things, you know. But I do see a lot of guys that are older, act older than what they should be.
That's weird. A very common thing right now too. I think people that are my age don't. It's almost prideful to say, "Yeah, I'm 20, but I act like I'm 30, or I feel like I'm 30, or whatever."
Yeah, I think that's a thing with y'all.
I
think when I was young, I was like, "Shit, I didn't want to get old."
No, I don't know why everybody wants to be 30 all the time.
It's so weird. It's so weird. I've noticed that.
Yeah,
like kids
I used to do that when I was like 12. When I was 12, I'd be like, "Oh yeah," but I hang out with like the older people. I was like, why? Just
I was not prideful of that. I enjoyed my life thoroughly. Yeah. I didn't have that. I don't recall wanting to be older.
My generation is very much like that, Dad. It is weird. It is very weird.
I mean, the way I think of you guys.
How do you see us? I know how Mom sees us.
Well, I just snorted because I find it a funny question. I will tell you, this opinion is based on my limited exposure to people your age. Okay, so I think that you guys, and I say this because you guys are our kids. You know, definitely I don't think that the hardships that me and Mom went through, you guys, I feel like you guys couldn't handle.
Not even comparable, no.
Right?
But
I think that, you know, you tend to, at y'all's age, want to live your life more. And what I mean by that is, so the honest opinion is that I just feel that, you know, instead of working harder, you're trying to work smarter, but it ends up not working out, so you guys drop it. You know what I mean? When obstacles hit,
you drop it.
You guys seem to drop it faster. Time is not valued in the same way. For us, you know, time was a long game, meaning that our goals were based on X years, X.
This amount of work in, this amount of months, so that in a few years we can get to here.
What I feel with you guys is that if you get slapped in the face, like the number one poet in the world, Mike Tyson.
Right. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
That's right.
Yeah.
You guys seem to get punched in the face and just wither.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. It's just like it's too easy. It's like, well, if I don't want to do this, I can do something else. If I don't want to do this, I can always do something else. And then you turn around, you're 25. You turn around, you're 30. You turn around, you're 35. And, you know, and I guess as a comparison, right, when me and Mom were in our 20s, we were struggling to truly struggling to put food on the table. You know, trying to figure our own lives out with the weight of the world and kids,
children,
and money,
on
you know, paying bills,
right,
and the happens of life itself, right? Trying to figure every shit out, everything. You know, there was no guidance of like, oh shit, I can get on YouTube and
figure the shit out.
Listen to this guy, and he'll teach me how to sell stuff on Amazon.
Yeah,
or you know, drop ship this somewhere, or you know, I want to be a stock trader, so I can just turn on 100 channels, put in 100 hours of work, and bam, there I go. And you know, there's always the information is not even hitting you at normal speed. It's like light speed. Everything is everywhere all the time.
Yeah, that's another crazy thing, Dad. Yeah.
But how do you decide when is enough? When do you? Because okay, when I was growing up, you know, I used to think, man, if I met a millionaire, I'm like, shit, this dude's got 18 boats and 20 homes.
Well, you probably thought about robbing him instead of thinking about asking
him. Besides that, but what I'm saying is, you know, my idea of success was like, oh man, look at this dude, you know what I mean? He got a pool. He got a pool in his house. He got a house.
Yeah.
You know, look at that damn nice car. This dude's rolling. He's balling out of control. And the funny thing was, I probably made more money in the streets than most of these people. Right? I just burned through it faster. It makes sense.
Because you were living that reckless life.
Yeah, it didn't.
Right.
It didn't matter. You didn't. You can't save. You can't save fast money. That's the code of the streets. You can't save fast money. It doesn't work. So the way I looked at things was different. But how do you deem success
at my age?
Yeah,
in my generation.
Yeah. This is totally off subject. This is going, but I love it. This is just a good conversation.
Yeah. To answer your question, Dad, my generation defines success, and personally, I'm gonna answer for everybody, but this is my answer. Doing something that makes you happy, and if you can live within the means of bare necessities, then to me that is, and whether the money comes in or not, right? Because I know a lot of people I know that say if you do this thing for the money, you're going to end up burning out and hating it. And to me, the happiness comes from just intrinsic fulfillment of whatever it is that you're doing. Now, am I saying that doing stuff for the money is wrong? No. There's people that go to school to be a fucking computer science person.
They do what they love.
And they don't give a shit about computer science.
Yeah.
Right? But,
But I think that's y'all's generation. That's what I was talking about earlier about y'all's generation. And I think the older
you get, though, and I think I kind of get that from you, though, you always talk about how I wish I was happy with what I had, right? Because sometimes you're like, man, this person doesn't make nearly as much money as me, but somehow they're happier than me, and that doesn't make any sense, That's right. And I hear you say that all the time, so it kind of helped me put into perspective, like, well, is success like money? Or is it the intrinsic things in life? But also, don't get me wrong, money is a great thing, and I love it. When people say money can't buy happiness, they're full of shit.
I will tell you that. I will tell you that I love the hunt.
Right. But
that's the part of the ambition, though. Of being just an money, just being. Yeah, just I love
beating
the hunt.
Yourself from yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like when I tell you stuff like that, man, I want to know how this dude is so happy. You know what I mean? I want to figure it out, right? And it's a tough deal.
Yeah,
it's a tough deal.
I mean, again, happiness is for sure a personal thing. Everybody has their own definition.
Man, I don't think people, because happiness is fleeting, right? I mean, most people define happiness as smiling and waking up and loving life and just being positive.
There's no way you can feel that way.
You're fucked.
Yeah.
Excuse my French. Yeah. I just don't think. I mean, I personally don't think that's a reality. I think when you're chasing happiness, you're chasing. You're trying to define your hunt. You're trying to
put a value in number.
You're trying to define your hunt, right? Because, I mean, truthfully, we're not all happy all the time.
No.
But if you look on social media, everybody's fucking happy all the time.
Yeah.
And so I think that kind of messes with people's mind, And
that's another thing too.
The verbiage is always like, you got to do what makes you happy. Well, fuck, if I mean, here's the reality, right? If doing what makes you happy and you're not doing anything, if watching videos all day
makes you
and
happy.
Being, I don't know the word, just not doing anything. Well, if you watch videos every day, you don't do shit with your life, and you watch videos your whole life. Yeah, you're happy as fuck, but you're still living at home. You're still dependent on your old parents or dependent on the people that take care of you. But yet you're happy, but everybody else around you is probably fucking miserable.
Yeah.
But are you truly happy, or are you indulging that takes you away from reality?
It's the hedonism sort of thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's why I define it as the hunt. I love the hunt, meaning that I like to go and find and search and learn.
Well, okay, then I guess to redefine my answer is, when I say doing what makes you happy, it has to bring some sort of
enjoyment,
intrinsic fulfillment of putting in effort to have an outcome. Yeah. I'm not saying like if what makes me happy is doing jumping jacks
all fucking
and
day.
I do jumping jacks forever.
Extreme.
I'm not making any fucking money, right? But if let's say what makes me happy is writing movies, and I write a bunch of movies, you know,
But you still
and then
have
I
to
sell
have
them.
that balance. Like
Right.
y'all's age, I was talking about life balance.
Mm.
You know, I have to do things to balance, to have the time to do this, do that.
Mm.
And for somebody like me, time is so valuable. Where every minute that ticks by, I've lost it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was young, sure, value of time was nothing when I was in my 20s and teens. But now that I'm older, shit, time is everything to me.
Mm.
I'll give you a perfect example. You know, working all week. Today's my only day off.
Mm.
So I had to make a point to go to the gym, come back, spend time with mom before we go to church, go to church, do my errands up until about 3.
Mm.
We went to eat, came back, went to do a couple things, came back, and you know, now it's 9:30 at night, 10 o'clock, and I'm getting ready to go to work.
Mm.
You know, for you, it's a normal day. For me,
Today's
but you know what I mean? But you worked a 12-hour shift or whatever that was. But what I'm saying is, like, for me, I'm like, shit, I got to get this done, get that done.
Yeah. Today
You know?
wasn't like, I was like trying not to do anything today, Dad.
But that's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
But it's okay. You felt like, you know what, I can be lazy. It's good.
Right.
Because you got tomorrow, you're going to do your little school work, and then Tuesday you might have to work or whatnot, right? For me, I had to fit everything in one day because that's the way I view time. I don't want to waste it. I'm like, dude, I'm doing this. It's not like I've mapped out the whole day, but I also I don't value sleeping in bed all day. But that's also me and Mom. We like to be on the go.
You and Mom are very much the same way about that.
Yeah, we're on the go
all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know, Dad. I think I want to get to be like that a little more, and I think I am. I think sometimes I slip. you know.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah, okay. I know. I took a nap today. I didn't do anything today, but again, I felt like I deserved it.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yesterday was, and the week before that, I was working a lot.
Yeah, but your time valuation is different than my time valuation. Right. Make sense? Mm-hmm. And so,
but I'm also 20. So
yeah, that's what
different.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's a weird deal, you know. So, man, I don't know. It went from 30 years of marriage to talking about that.
Recording for an hour, Dad.
Oh wow,
Holy shit! Yeah, hour and 2 minutes.
Wow, it went by quick.
Yeah.
These things go by so quick.
They do. It's always so fun to record this. We gotta get the guests on here. Just call them on the phone.
We'll get a guest on here.
Yeah, we gotta call them on the phone.
We'll get a guest on here and get them on the phone.
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny.
Our now 3 listeners.
3 listeners. Yeah.
Woohoo! When we get to 4.
Hey, more than one before. So yeah.
But hey, I know that we were off subject. We talked about a few different things. Hopefully, there's insightful some of the things. You know, once we get better at this and refine what we talk about and stay within subject, I think it gets better. But for now, for me, it's like therapy. I get to sit around and talk with my son.
Yeah.
Relive some of those moments that I've actually forgotten about.
Yeah.
And, you know, hopefully you guys enjoy some of the wild stories.
Yeah, today was pretty good.
That comes with it.
We had a good episode today, Dad.
It was a good episode.
Today was a good episode. Absolutely.
Hope y'all 3 boys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And he did upload 4 the other day.
I did, finally. Sorry,
so we're going to upload this tonight.
Yeah. Double uploads.
Yeah. So with that.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening.
Gapsao.
Gapsao. Good night.
Good night, boys.